Three. Um, Kathleen, my sister, and I'm Amy.
And we're talking about clearing. So, in this segment, I thought we would first start with explaining a little bit about how the brain works before we actually get into working with Amy and her specific issue. I just wanted to introduce some of the ideas about how this works and why this works. So, um,
And the reason that we're doing this is because I really had a tough time wrapping my brain around the idea of getting myself to do this. I'm a really tough case because it doesn't come naturally for me to be so introspective and to uh, the word that's coming to my mind is attack because it feels a lot like an attack.
yeah. And that's true. So, in listening to people like Jordan Peterson, he talks about slaying the dragon, and this is a little bit of what it's like. This When we clear, we're basically facing our dragons and slaying them. And I just teach it from the perspective of automatic responses and things that plague you in your life, but those are really your dragons. So, to introduce the idea, I'd like to talk about how the brain works with this. So our brains are wired to protect us, meaning if something happens to us that was dangerous, for instance, if there was a snake in the path and the snake tried to bite us, or maybe did bite us, but nevertheless, the snake was there and we felt fear and we jumped back maybe. Um, so then snake goes away, we go away. The next day, we're walking in the same path and we see a stick on the side of the road and we think it's the snake. And we jump back and we feel fear. And not only that, but we scream. So this is a little example of how the brain works. The brain is designed to protect you. So when you have a dangerous situation happen in your life, your brain programs that in. It remembers it so that the next time you have a similar situation, your brain says, oh, we're having a similar situation. We need to set up all the same responses from that situation so that you're ready. So it's really your brain trying to protect you. However, um, it can backfire on you, and you can end up inheriting these fears from somebody when in your life they are completely unfounded, and they can cause you to be stopped in your life. For instance, if that was your grandfather who saw the snake in the path, and now all you have to do is see a stick and you suddenly feel panic and you don't know why. And even walking on the path triggers you to feel panic and you don't know why. This is how it can backfire generationally. And the brain will do that. It will add up these responses to fear events and they will keep them inside you until you clear them.
And it doesn't have to be fear necessarily. It can be a very strong emotion, a strong
Right.
decision
Right.
that is made to feel a certain way
Right.
when something is presented.
Right. Now, the brain only needs one similarity in order for it to be triggered in the same response. So, for instance, with the snake in the path, all you would have to have is the path, and your brain would say, oh, we're on the path, therefore we should feel afraid. So, your brain can actually start to work against you, and a lot of people talk about that these days when they talk about panic attacks and phobias, and there are all kinds of things. They can be illnesses, they can be any number of things that stop us or hamper us in our progress and in our lives. So I've given you some examples of some of the beliefs that people have in that list in the previous video. But now I just want to talk just a little bit more about how the brain works. So once you've got this automatic response, then it is programmed through that strong emotion into the subconscious mind. And that's why it's automatic. You don't consciously think, I'm on the path now, I need to be afraid. Your brain does that for you.
Yeah.
So if you have a lot of these things happening, then it's good to stop and listen to yourself. So when you start listening to yourself, both to your feelings and to your thoughts, you will start to recognize where these landmines happen in your life, these automatic responses. So, for instance, if I was the granddaughter of this grandfather we were talking about who had the snake in the path, and I happen to be walking down a path, and suddenly I feel fearful, and my mind says, I can't be on this path, then I would listen to that and I would ask myself, why? Why do I feel this? Those are the first steps. First, we recognize that there are thoughts and there are feelings, and then we listen to them and be aware of them and maybe even write them down. Those are the first steps to start cataloging in your own brain where those landmines have been planted, either by your childhood or your ancestors. It's usually within the first 4 generations of ancestors, but it can go further back. But those in the first 4 generations are strongest in you if you've inherited them. And we know that we inherit traits like hairlines and eye shape and voices, and we inherit all kinds of things from our ancestors. And this is one more thing that we can inherit. We can inherit these automatic responses. And these are the things that our brain stores in our subconscious mind, so we're not consciously aware of them, but they actually create some of the interesting drama in our lives that we wonder where they come from. Why do I feel this way about myself? Why does this always happen to me, like I said before with that list of things? So those are some of the things to understand about how the brain works. And now that we know that, we can go on in the next video and talk about a specific event and how we deal with that and face that